Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Giant Size Spider-Man issue number 1. This was a really good book that I hated. I'm going to explain all that in a moment. Again, this was a really good book, totally worth picking up, but I hate that they did it like this. This is called King's Ransom: The Conclusion. Nick Spencer is the writer. Roge Antonio and Carlos Gomez and Ze Carlos are the artists. Alex Sinclair on colors, VC's Joker Magna on letters. Bagley Dell and Brian Ribber does the cover, and there's a variant cover or so out there. And yeah, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Spider-Man. Okay, so this is basically going to be, as it says, the conclusion to King's Ransom. It'd be nice if they actually put that on the front of the book instead of just saying King's Ransom. Actually said conclusion. This is the book you got to get. You know what would have been even better is if they would have actually just made this a part of the Spider-Man series. Like, we're buying Amazing Spider-Man. We're reading Amazing Spider-Man. What is the purpose of making an outside book? Because now lots and lots and lots of answers are given in here, lots of changes. Spider-Man is no longer wearing the suit. Bullseye does a huge heel turn, and we find out what specifically the Kingpin has been trying to do, trying to accomplish what he went and asked what's his face Kindred for in the first place and was denied. Right? We get a whole lot showing up in here. While I have a few questions about the choice of what what's his name was trying to do in here, it's something. At least it's something, and it was something different than what I expected. Whatever, I don't have a problem with it. Hopefully, I'm sure that this will turn into something fantastic. What do you call that? The whole thing with the tablets is now over. No more tablets conversations to be had from this point on, right? Um, anyway, a lot happened here, but why wasn't this in the main Spider-Man books? At this point, I'm starting to think that as good as the Amazing Spider-Man books are, if you want a good story, you should definitely buy everything that Nick Spencer is doing right now. But I do have to say this. If you are a little bit on the cheap side, if you just want to have the big reveal stuff, you don't need to buy the Amazing Spider-Man title. You just need to buy all the little ancillary stuff that he does also. This should have been a double-sized issue in The Amazing Spider-Man, right? If you need to get all this out in one issue, and I understand if you do, then it should have been in the regular Spider-Man pages. There was no need, zero need, for an extra Spider-Man book to be made. It just doesn't make sense. But that is the thinking, and this is just my speculation, my observation, is that Marvel, the execs there, they don't really care. They don't care about the small shops still trying to keep their head above water, saying in the direct market. They don't care anymore. They don't. Because if they did, they would make it a continuous story. They'd stop constantly switching back to number ones and number twos and different volumes and things like that. Stop doing all that stuff. Stop being, with the extra stuff, the Giant Size X-Men book. Think about all the Giant Size X-Men books, right? That just came out recently. Where do those go? Where do those go? How do you file all of these in the long boxes? How? No. You know how you properly put these together? In a trade paperback, bro. You do it for a trade paperback. That's what you do. If you're trying to collect these books afterwards, you are boned. You're boned, right? You follow the Marvel database or you follow me. And you look in my descriptions. How I'll say, side story over here, right? In the little description box. Little things like that. But man, like Marvel is really screwing the pooch. And I'm talking about like tying that pooch up and no lube and just bow. And it's like, dude, that wasn't even the right hole. If there is a right hole for a pooch when you're a human. I know that sounds really graphic, but I want you to think about how I feel about the way that this is done in here. The Spider-Man costume is gone. Thank God. But it's gone now. And Jonah with freaking, oh my God, Spider Slayers again. But it was more of a prop and it was more of a whatever thing, which is fine. I'm okay with that. This was such a complete story, even though it was a conclusion. It felt like such a complete story. It was really good for very, 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 the most continuous storytelling in the comics right now is what Nick Spencer is doing. That's a choice, right? That's a choice. Not the easiest thing to keep following with, but it is what it is. These are really good stories that if you don't know what's going on, but you want to read a good story, just jump on and worry about figuring out all that other stuff later on. You know what I'm saying? Go look at video reviews, mine or anybody else's, I don't care. But go and look at video reviews to catch up, because it's worth catching up. These are amazing stories. That said, I hate the idea that they decided to just throw this in a completely random book. Just, anyway. After that, very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. Several things happening here where I'm like, okay, I did not see that coming, which is brilliant, especially when you're trying to lead somebody down this path, but you still leave it open enough that they could guess otherwise. You could guess what Kingpin was trying to do. You could guess what was going on with Bullseye. You could guess all of these things. And even then, even when there was a little heel turn at the end, there's still the look, and this is where the art comes into play. My God, the freaking art in this book is spectacular. Antonio Gomez, Carlos, you know what I'm saying? Sinclair on the colors. Woo! When you see Bullseye's face at the end, the last scene with Bullseye, when you see that close-up, it's a close-up, so it should show emotion, right? That's storytelling. That's beautiful, right? You got a close-up, there's emotion there, boom, and you see it registered on his face. No words are necessary. There are words just in case, but there's no words necessary. The face shows it all. These guys know what they're doing with their pencils, their inks. My God, beautiful. Anyway, guys, I really liked this comic book a lot. It just belongs in the actual stream, not just some side thing where, like, how do you file this? You're a comic book store owner. How do you file this? You just remember everything and just, oh yeah, this goes here. If you get a new shipment in, or somebody decides to sell their comic books and this is one of the comic books in there, where do you file this? Just any old place, right? You have to go and look up and remember which issue this came in between. Look at the descriptions in my videos. That's not right. That's not right. But it is what it is. There you go. This is good for the people who are readers right now. If you're a reader in the future, you better be into trades, because you'll never figure this out on your own. I promise you that. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.